Women of Reddit, what has been your worst nice guy experience? Joined student government and made a new friend the first day. He asked for my number so we could easily contact each other considering we were working in the same department. Figured it made sense, so I gave him my number. An hour later I get a text message asking if I wanted to hang out sometime. Still didn't think much of it and figured I would reply later after class. Around half an hour later he sends me another text asking if I was interested and why I hadn't replied yet. Then he calls me. I don't pick up because I'm creeped out at this point. He leaves me a voicemail and starts flipping out on me saying I should just be upfront with him instead of leading him on. Immediately calls back again and leaves a voicemail asking if I'm still interested. If so, I should let him know as soon as possible. Leaves another voicemail and gets angry at me saying that I'm not worth it and tells me I lost my chance. Then he calls again. I decline the call and block his number. Never saw him in student government after that day though. He just went on a rampage against a non-responsive phone. For all he knows you just had your phone on silent in your purse or left it at your flat or something. Imagine if you were interested and came back to your phone you left in your car with like 7 angry voicemails and 5 texts. Rational thinking and nice guys tend to be mutually exclusive. When visiting my hometown, an old guy friend from high school contacted me saying him and a group of old high school buddies were going to a coffee house at our old school then to a bar after and they wanted me to come. When I got there, it was just him. He told me the one person cancelled and the 2 others were running late and would meet us at a bar after the show. I always felt comfortable with this guy, so I didn't mind sitting in the back of the coffee house and catching up. After the coffee house, he offered to follow me home so I could drop off my car. He didn't drink, but I did at the time. He said he would be my DD. I thought that would be alright. My mom knew my plans. We get to the bar and a couple of friends are there waiting on us with drinks for me. I have about 4 mixed drinks. Our 2 friends take off, but my ride was finishing up a game of pool, so I waited. He ordered me another drink, even though I said I had enough, and got frustrated and offended that I wouldn't drink it, since he paid for it. I caved in and drank it. After driving me home, he tried to bang me in my driveway, hands all over the place, kissing me while I pushed him away. I had to slap him across the face to get him to stop. After slapping him, he bitched about how lucky I should feel because he was a really nice guy and treated me like a princess all night. He also screamed at me from the car window that I was a slut. He was not a nice guy. He also screamed at me from the car window that I was a slut. I'll never understand how not wanting sex makes you a slut. Around last year I ran into someone I had vaguely known in high school but didn't like back then because he was really strange. But when we saw each other he seemed like he had really matured, so we added each other on Facebook and would occasionally message each other. He started going through a really rough time. His dad passed away, he'd started getting into harder drugs, etc. So when he reached out for help I tried to do my best to be there for him. Convinced him to start going to therapy and all that jazz, and it really seemed like it was helping. Then he started pushing me to come over to his college and hang out with him, even though it was an hour away, and would try to invite himself over to my apartment. I just brushed it off and made excuses about not being able to. A few weeks down the line he asked me why I never gave him a chance. I've been with my so for almost 3 years and this guy knew that we were still together because of Facebook and the fact that I was with my so as often as I could. I told him that I was with someone that I was very happy with and that all he was ever going to be was a friend. He lost his shit and started calling me and messaging me calling me a lying whore and that I led him on. He said he was always so nice to me so I would fuck him and now it was all just a waste of time. He started threatening to kill himself if I wouldn't sleep with him. I ended up calling the police for them to go check on him since he was saying all that stuff and I didn't want him to hurt himself. They ended up admitting him for around a week and I've had to block him on every social media and change jobs just so he wouldn't show up and do anything to me. He's been spreading lies about me now apparently. Since when I went back home for Thanksgiving break I had people asking me why I cheated on my so with that guy and if I really had him put in a mental hospital because he ended the affair. TL. DR bitches be crazy. A guy in high school who I had been friends with got very possessive of me when I started dating my now husband. So much so that he would literally walk between the two of us anytime he saw us together. One day, I get to my economics class, and there's a CD case taped to my desk with my name on it. Well, I'm running late, so I shrug, throw it in my backpack, and completely forget about it until after school that day. I get into my boyfriend's car, and he starts digging through his CD case to find music, and it jars my memory. I tell him about the CD on my desk, and take it out of my backpack. I open the case, and about 30 dried, flattened flowers fall out. There's a note on the inside of the case detailing how much other guy loves me, and we are meant to be together. And to prove it, he made me a mixtape mix CD of his love for me. We put the CD in the player and wait 23 songs, each one about ass.
I don't like golf. I don't like swimming. I just like chasing them big butt women.
My anaconda don't want none unless you got buns, hun. Oh, you miss Lou Booty.
Now, the further into this CD I get, the more hysterical my boyfriend becomes. He went from blind rage upon hearing the note to complete hyena laughter in a matter of minutes. I'm sitting on my apparently very much enjoyed ass in stunned silence. The next day I explained to other guy that the devil had a better chance of building a snowman than he had of us dating, and maybe the next object of his affection shouldn't receive an ode to ass CD. He got downright shitty, but eventually lost interest and moved on. My husband kept the CD, and when he sees me in a bad mood he plays it and starts laughing all over again. 0.11 years later, on my apparently very much enjoyed ass, I find this almost as amusing as your husband does. Many moons ago I met a guy on a Cupid and went on exactly one date. We had an okay time until the end of the date, when he would not let go of me, as in, hugged me and wouldn't stop. At first I kind of laughed, but it quickly accelerated to okay, fucking let me go now. He let go about 2 seconds before I went screaming bloody murder ballistic, and suffice it to say I was done with this guy forever. He sent me 3 emails that night, 3 the next day, and kept this up for about a month. Then about 3 months later he emailed me again to see if you've decided you're into nice guys after all. If you've decided you're into nice guys after all. If he only knew the language you speak. My most recent nice guy exchange was the day before Thanksgiving. I stopped into the local dollar store to buy one of those cheap aluminum turkey roasting pans. As I do every year, I pick out my pan and go on to debate whether or not I need extra serving dishes when some guy approaches me. He'll be SG for some guy and I'll be me. SG, hey beautiful, when can I take you out to dinner? Me, trying to be nice. I flash my wedding ring. I'm married. SG, ah really? Me, yeah. I continue to look at cheap serving dishes. SG, well, you know, I'm married too. He flashes his ring. Me, dude, that's messed up. SG, we can go out to dinner as just friends. Me, no, we can't. SG, oh what, your man don't let you go out with your friends? Me, your intentions are clear, and you aren't my friend. He continues to try to argue with me about how controlling my man must be, and how he just wants to be friends. Me, dude, why the fuck are you arguing with me? You have zero chance of taking me out to dinner. All I want right now is for this conversation to end. SG, whatever bitch, you don't look that good anyways. Me, fucking awesome, go away. I had one guy who had a crush on me completely stop talking to me when I started dating someone else, but on my birthday I got a huge box in the mail from him. It had a ton of weird stuff in it, bed sheets, a stuffed giraffe, an old journal from a young grade that they had to write in 4 points with new entries made about me, all written in his kid style, a framed collage of pictures of me, and screenshots of our text conversations, a letter explaining the giraffe begged to be sent to me, as well as congratulating me on my 4-month anniversary. I called him immediately to tell him that it was inappropriate, and he called my boyfriend and got into a fight with him or something, and then posted on Facebook about how he went out of his way to get a nice gift for a girl who didn't appreciate it. Edit, a word. Also, since it seems unclear, Nisega I live 300 miles away, so the fight was just a phone conversation that I wasn't around to hear. Oh, and the bed sheets were his, not new, unopened bed sheets. The rules of gift giving seems to be pretty straightforward. 1. Don't make a more personal gift than the relationship is ready for. 2. Never gift anything that creates a sense of obligation. This needs to be written down and taught somewhere. 3. Not your bed sheets. I was getting tutored at school one time and the guy who was tutoring me was asking what my plans were for the weekend. I assumed it was small talk, so I just said the usual: studying, working, hanging out with my boyfriend. He got so pissed. He started to rant on and on about how girls like me were all the same. Always using guys, and then never giving anything in return. That he helped me, so the least I could do was go out on a date with him. That he's so nice, and no girls ever want to date him, probably because we all like jerks. His words. He said I was a fake/tease too for allowing him to tutor me. He got kind of aggressive too, and started to slam things around/shove chairs into the tables and stuff. I noped out of there so fast. Oh, you're taken? Fake girls like you only like assholes. Nice guys like me are always turned down. You fake whore. Smashes chair. IAMSOOONICA. Oh boy. I was out at a bar, and a guy started talking to me. After about 5 minutes I told him I actually had a long-term boyfriend, so if he would rather mingle that was totally fine with me, and I completely understood. He looked so hurt, and was like, OMG no, you seem great, and I'd love to keep talking. Of course that's no problem at all. He was really outgoing, and we had a fun rapport, so I stuck around. About an hour in, I'm now pretty buzzed, and the nice guy manipulation begins. He keeps touching me, and whenever I tell him to stop he's like, you're so on edge. I'm just being friendly, OMG haha. Just constantly invalidating my boundaries and making me feel impolite. Then he starts in with the badgering. If you weren't interested, why did you accept a drink? If you're so happy with your boyfriend, then why are you out here? Don't you know he's probably cheating on you since he's alone? You're too young for a serious relationship anyway. I finally had it when he said, look at your sister over there. She's so sexual and men love her. You should be like that. People would like you better. I told him he didn't know what he was talking about, and I was visibly angered. Then the weirdest thing happened. In that moment I turned invisible. Like his eyes glazed over, and I ceased to exist, and he just wandered away to a new group of girls. As soon as he finally gave up trying to get in my pants, I wasn't even a person anymore. Hour plus of laughing together and sharing about our lives I took as a genuine human connection meant literally nothing. I was just someone maybe he could bully into fucking. Anyway, there's a nice guy for ya. It sucks being reduced to an object after you think someone actually found you interesting and funny or whatever. But such is life sometimes. Jesus fucking Christ. The scariest part is when you realize that it was all an act.